form and kind of walk through it with you, make sure you guys have all the details. So I'm waiting on Christy to send me her numbers that she has right now, which are also just estimates. The key thing on this form right here is this word right here, estimated. A lot of these numbers we can't know yet, but it is my responsibility to disclose to you guys the fact that there are some costs related to purchasing a home outside of just the purchase price. So, just to walk through this, just to give you just a little bit more explanation, the sales price, that's going to stay locked in unless we, make a change to it like we did previously. And then, I'm assuming, no down payment as we've talked about, but there is a VA funding fee. Sometimes that's put into the loan, sometimes it's not. So I'm assuming that it is, and I'm pretty sure that that's the case. And this is an estimated number. Again, Christy will have more accurate information on that, but it's based on a percentage of the purchase price. So if that's the case, then the estimated total loan amount is this 226 number. The closing date is estimated. We're going to do everything we can to make that date work, but there are a lot of factors outside of outside of my control that could affect that date. For example, the seller is having a survey done, which is in the contract that they would provide that, but that survey is not complete. And for the title company to do the work that they need to do to ensure a clear title, they have to have the survey complete. So, as soon as that gets done, title company starts their work. But for some reason, if that surveyor delays more than we hope he does, then that could push this date back further. So that's an estimated date. So the fees on here, our down payment, we've got that at 0, and then these are numbers that I plug in because they're pretty common. 1% loan origination fee, 1% loan discount if you buy down your interest rates. You can do. That's an option that you have, and I just put this in here to to say, hey, that's an option that you may come across. Is to take your interest rate from 7% to 6%, if that's an option with your lender. Typically, it's every interest rate, it's going to cost you 1% of the purchase price up here. So that's where those numbers. I do understand this number is going to be quite a bit different with Christy. I understand that their fee, maybe all of that is waived. There's that. The appraisal fee, depending on the appraiser that picks up the order, the price could be slightly different. So this number is an estimate. Your credit report, from my perspective as a real estate agent, every bank that I deal with has a slightly different approach to how they charge for pulling credit, and we estimate that to be about $50. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less. And same thing with the lender's inspection fees. Those change from our perspective. We deal with a different bank with almost every transaction, and so we have to plug a number here to make you aware that there is a potential cost there. So that's the number we put in there. And a flood certificate, another thing that just has to happen as part of the process to ensure that the property is not in there. That's pretty usually about that price. But again, that's an estimate, can be different because these are all items payable in connection with the loan. So those numbers are based on the lender. So more numbers, based on the lender. Down here near the bottom is prepaid interest as part of your loan. That's going to be between the loan closing and your first payment. They prepay that interest. We don't even know what your interest rate is. It hasn't been locked in yet, from my understanding. So it's hard to even get an accurate number here. but I typically I'll look at the rates, when I'm doing one of these forms, and I'll say, well, on average, it's just say 15 days, and based on the loan amount and the interest rate that I plugged in, this is a rounded number of what it would cost per day for that prepaid interest, which is it's going to be part of the closing costs that show up there on the ending. But that's all an estimate, unless you've already found an insurance company and they've already locked in a rate for you. This is an estimate of $1,800 for your homeowner's insurance. There's no way I can know that number until you guys tell me that. So that's an estimate. And down here, with most lenders will require you to have a little bit extra in your escrow account for the insurance and the taxes. So again, estimating $1,800 for your homeowner's insurance. 3 months of that would be $450. So that's an estimate. Property taxes based on the previous year's taxes. We estimate what that's going to be. That could be slightly different when we get down to the end and we get the numbers from the county on what the actual tax is going to be. Then that. Again, all these numbers are in flex. The goal is that we can, inform you that, hey, these are charges that are related to the loan, even though we have no way of knowing what these are yet. These are estimates. So, second page, these title charges. These are related to the title company. When you go to actually sign on your loan, they charge for you to come to the office and use their closing facilities and use the people on their staff and those kind of things. Abstracting service and the title examination by an attorney. Sometimes some people might put that charge here in the attorney fees line. Then your title insurance. What is that cost going to be? And again, completely dependent upon the title company, and once you get closer to the end of the loan, these numbers become more accurate, but these are estimates that we have to put in here again to disclose to you guys that there are costs related to purchasing a home outside of the purchase price. So gap check, again, has to do with your title and just to ensure that everything is locked in and that you actually own the property and no one else has right to it in any way. They're going to check every way because they're going to issue this insurance policy on your title that says if someone does have a claim to that property from somewhere in the past, that the title company will protect you and protect the lender and make sure that person goes away. Not literally, but figuratively speaking of their right to own that property. This next section is a government recording and transfer charges. These are things related to the courthouse. What do they charge to file your deed, file your mortgage, again, mortgage certificate, these things related to the county. Other things that are costs related to that may or may not apply. In your case, the wood infestation inspection or termite inspection, which is required by a VA loan. And the vendor that we typically use charges $150 for that. I think we've talked about that previously. And then, depending on the inspector that we use, and sometimes there are options for inspectors to inspect additional things. This is completely at your discretion on who you hire and what you have them inspect. We are more than willing to make our recommendations and handle that completely for you. But it is something that if you want, some people do that on their own, and we can have both of these again rolled into the closing costs. So anyway, these are all estimated fees on both pages. And if we take this number, it says total estimated expenses, $10,747. Again, those are all estimated. The only things that really aren't possible to flex a little bit are the purchase price, and then this is now what we've added to the contract. We reduced this number by $5,000 because the seller we raised the price and then asked the seller to give us that back right here. So that's where that $5,000 from the increase in the price comes back to you right there. And then today when I meet with Larry, we're going to pick up the earnest money, which is kind of that deposit to keep everything going, keep everything in the contract happy, and that is credited back to you there. So, based on all of those estimates, we're here at the 4747. Now, Christy, again, she's going to send me that form as soon as she can today, and I can adjust these numbers to her estimates. And if we need to do that, be great. We can do it. But I wanted you guys to have a pretty clear understanding of what this form looks like, and what all these things mean. And hopefully that's helpful. And anyway, I'm gonna jump off here, and as always, if there's any questions that you have, feel free to get in touch. Talk to you soon.